Hello everyone, my name is Ankit Jain. I welcome you all to my channel Take Journey with Ankit. Today's video is another LWC coding scenario where we will be discussing the questions that have been asked in one of the interview. Not only we will go over the question, but also we will try to implement the solution around that coding scenario as well. In case you folks like to have one-to-one connect with me, you guys can scan this QR code of the top mate or click on the link below link on the top mate to have one-to-one connect with me. In case you guys go and scan that QR code, you will be landed up on this top mate page where there will be two options available for you folks. Option number one is you can have one-to-one connect with me where we can discuss all the Salesforce queries, any mock interviews, any job related support that you folks want to discuss. Everything we can do here. Moreover, there are few digital products which are also available where you can go and explore the notes from the LWC data cloud notes. In case you folks are preparing for the interview, then this interview prep guide can also be explored from here, where there are more than 500 around 400 plus questions on the different topics of the Salesforce, including the admin, Apex, LWC, integration, as well as the flows. Not only that, whatever the code that we are building in this LWC scenario series will also be available with this interview prep guide. So the code that we will be building in today's session will again be available with this interview prep guide as well. So let's go over the scenario for today. Again, the scenario here is a service team wants to build a utility component that help them to manage the cases. So they want a component which should show them all the open cases, and using the same component they want to close the multiple cases as well, right? So they have mentioned that a system should go and fetch all the open cases across the entire org. Again, the number of cases that they want maximum should come up here is the 50 records, right? Where it should be coming up by the created date in the descending order, so that the new cases should be coming up first. In addition to that, in case there is no filter applied, then they want all the 50 cases should be loaded. But in case the user is specifying the account in the filter, then they want the cases should be filtered based on the account as well. So here there should be a provision to filter the records based on the account. Next thing here is they want all the cases that we are bringing up, it should be coming up in the form of data table, where there should be a provision to select the multiple cases as well. And if the user is selecting all those multiple cases, then one button should be enabled, that is the close selected cases. On the click of that button, we have to make the apex call and close that cases. In case none of the cases are selected, then that button should be disabled by default. Okay, and once the case has been closed, then they want the table should automatically refresh, and not only that, one toast notification should also appear, right? Which should say how many cases has been closed successfully, and in case any error occurred, that also should be highlighted here. So by the end of the session, we will be building up the component something like this, where there will be a provision to filter the cases by the account. There should be a provision to select the multiple cases, and on the selection, after clicking the button, here we are putting up how many cases has been closed as well. So user can click on this button and close the cases too. So I will go and start building this component. The very first thing that I will be building here is the Apex code, which is responsible to get all the open cases. So here I am writing down the Apex class and putting the Apex class name as case management controller. Okay, let me go and zoom this. I will be creating this Apex class eventually, which will be invoked with the help of wire decorator. So here I am making @aura enabled and putting up here is cacheable equal to true. So putting the method here. Let me go and close this. And here I am putting the public static void. At this moment, I want to return all the cases. So let me go and return the case. And here I am putting the get open cases, where I'm expecting the two parameters. First parameter here is the account ID, or let's have only one parameter, because they have clearly mentioned that they want to limit the number of records based on the limit In case they want to make it flexible, then you can accept another parameter, and based on the limit, you can get those records. But here the picture is clear. They want to get maximum 50 records at one time. So I'm only accepting here the string of account ID. Now there can be two possibilities. Either the account ID is null or the account ID is not null, right? So what I have to do, I need to check if account ID is not null, then I need to get all the open cases. If account ID is null, then I need to filter the cases based on account ID. So basically, I want my dynamically my query should be built where the filter logic should be applied. So here I go and first write down my basic query, which is responsible to select the basic details about the cases. Here I'll be putting select ID, let's say case number, account ID, whatever the details that I want to fetch, right? Account number. In addition to that, I want to fetch the account ID, account name, let's say subject, contact ID, contact name, whether the case has been closed or not. In case you wants to fetch that things as well, you can put all those details that you want to fetch here, right? From where you want to fetch these details, I want all those details should be coming up. Last modified, I have not wrong. Let me go and I don't need this. Okay, I want all those details should be coming up from the case object. So this is my basic query, and that I want to put up here, where I will be getting all the case related data. But again, one part that I'm also clear here is in the output that I will be getting up here. Let me go and close this and add in the plus button so that the readability will be much better. Right? Yeah, this looks good, right? From case, right? And here I'm saying that I'm only interested in those cases which are not closed. If you want, you can always go and check if your query is working as expected or not from the org. So here I am navigating. Let me go and run this query in the export so that we can make sure that whatever the API names that we are putting up in our query, they are correct. And it's always a good thing to first validate the API names, because otherwise it can create unnecessary things, right? So here you can see I am getting all the cases which are not closed with one single condition. Now another thing here is there is a one more condition that I need to append, and this condition should be appended only and only if the account ID is not equal to null. So here I am checking whether my account ID is null or not, and based on that, here I am appending this condition. Okay, now the next thing that I will be putting up here is the sorting, because in the problem statement they have mentioned that whatever the cases that we are getting, it should be sorted by the created date in the descending order. So here I'll be putting sorted by created date in descending order. So I need to make sure that my query is working by respecting the sorting as well. So here I'll be putting query is equal to query plus order by created date in the sorting order. So whatever the cases which has been created first, it will go and put up here. Another thing that I need to add here is the limit count as well, right? And so let me go and directly put up here limit 50. I want to limit the number of records maximum to the 50 as per the criteria that has been shared. Now I will be executing this query using the database.query. This is how you go and execute the dynamic query. Let me put down here, execute dynamic query, and finally you will be returning here the list of cases, right? So my Apex class is ready, which is responsible to return me the list of open cases. So here I go and deploy my Apex. After that, I will be building my Lightning Web component, which is responsible to go and display those records. So navigating here on my HTML file first, or let me first go and build the Lightning Web component. And here I am giving the Lightning Web component as the case management, where the first letter is in the lower case, right? And Okay, how my lightning component should look like. On my lightning component, the very first thing that I have shown you in the output, we should have one filter on the left hand side, and we should have one button on the right hand side as well. So what I will do up here is I will add one lightning card, putting a title as, what is the title that I have put? Case management utility. Case management utility, right? Also, I am adding one icon name, and let's say here I'll be using the standard case icon, right? And now coming back to here, so let's see the first thing that I want to add here, some padding space. After that, what I want to display here is the uh, option for the user to go and select the case. But before even I go there, in one row, I want to have the two different things, right? On the left hand side, I want to have the filter, and on the right hand side, I want to have the button as well. So here I go and take the help of the SLDS now. SLDS grid. Let me navigate here to the SLDS grid. Navigate to the SLDS one. And here I will be looking for the grid. So let me go here, search for the grid. So what kind of option that you can go for? Let's say I want to have something like this, where on my left hand side, there should be a option to go and put the filter criteria, and on the right hand side, there should be a button as well. So let me go and copy this code, and here I go and put it. Let me go and format this. Format document with HTML, right? And this is where I want to have some selection where user can go and select the option. Okay, so here I will be putting up the option to go and select the search criteria. So how I will be doing the putting the search criteria? So again, I will navigate to the component library, and there's a component, out of the box component that Salesforce have provided, with the help of which we can easily perform the search. And that component here is the record picker component. So I will be using here the lightning record picker component. So, okay, let's say it looks something like this. And here I go and put it again. Let me go and do the quick formatting with the HTML feature. So I want to have the account. Let's say here I want to put the label as filter by accounts. Okay, and putting here the search accounts. Right after that, I'll be putting the object API name as the account. And as soon as user is making the search, I want to make the on change, that is the handle search account. So this is the first method where the help of which I want to perform the search. So let me navigate to the JavaScript, and here I will be putting this method which is responsible to perform the search. Right now, how you can accept the value from the search? Again, in the documentation only they have given how you can use the change handler to accept the value. Let me quickly show you. If I scroll down, event dot, okay, I believe it is somewhere in the documentation, might be in the specification. So there is no direct way, but again, I have already experimented this. So let me directly go and get the account name now from this function. So basically, whenever whatever the value that user is typing, my JS method will execute, and my JS method, it will return me whatever the account name that user have entered. How I can access that account name? It's very simple. You have to use the, let me go and store this here into the one of the variable, right? Account, or let me give the variable name as selected account ID. Okay, and here you're supposed to use not event.detail.value. I'm not sure why the IntelliSense is suggesting something like this. It should be something like the record ID only. Okay, it should be event dot Yeah, you can see on the change event, this is where I was talking about. On the change event returns the following parameter. What it will return? Record ID. So event dot detail dot record ID. This is how you can accept the change value from the lightning record picker. Okay, so now I do have the selected account coming up. On the right hand side, what I want here is the one button should be available, right? As I have shown you in the output with the name of close selected cases. So let me go and put one button on the right hand side. That is the lightning button. And here I'll be putting the button name as close selected cases, right? And on the click of which I'll be putting up the close selected cases function. Again, we will go and write down the functionality of this button down the line, but at this moment I will simply go and put the placeholder for this button here, right? So what they are saying here is by default this button is something which should be disabled because they have mentioned in the problem statement. Again, if I take you here, by default the button should be disabled, right? So let me go and define one more parameter here, disable button, and here I am putting the value as true. Again, how you can go and disable the button by default? So here I will be putting up disabled is equal to whatever the value which is available in this attribute. Based on that, the button is something which will be disabled. So I have defined the label, I have defined the on click. Again, if you want to add one more attribute here, like the variant attribute as the brand, and you can go and put up here, right? That's completely fine, right? You can also add the icon name, utility close. It's completely up to you how you want to go and design this button. So very first thing that we have done, we have designed our header. Now the next on the next slide, what I want to put here is the summary information. So again, if I have to put a correct note here, this is something what I will refer as a header section. Right now, the next thing that I will be putting up here is the summary section. Again, there is no ask for the summary section, but let me go and put that summary section as well so that you folks will also understand in case the requirement has been twisted to add the summary information, how you will go and put it. Again, in the case of summary information, one information is coming up on the leftmost side and another information is coming up on the rightmost side. So how you can align this kind of information? Very first thing here again, we have to go and put the grid because two information is coming up in the one line. Navigating here to the SLDS grid, let me look for the grid which is dividing the sections into the two equal part. Okay, so this is the grid which is dividing the section into the two equal part. Let me go and paste that grid. Again, I am formatting the document with the HTML feature, right? Very first thing I want something should be coming up on the extreme left. Okay, so there is a one function alignment CSS, right, that I believe we can use, using which we can go and align the text. I believe we can look into the text CSS as well, right? Here we do have the option to align it to the left. So to align it to the left, I will be using the class SLDS text align left. Navigating here, okay, the class is already available, right? And here I will be putting, you should go and align something div class, whatever the text that is available, you should go and align that to the extreme left, right? Similarly, for the next one here, I will be putting, you should go and align the text to the extreme right. Okay, again, here I will be putting up the text now. Let me go and put that here. On the left hand side, I want total open cases should be coming up. Okay, let's say the total open cases, it is coming up from the from the one of the variable that we go and define, which is responsible to calculate the total open case count. Okay, and I will be putting another one which is responsible to calculate the total selected cases. Okay, and here I'll be putting the total selected case count. So these are the two variables that I am putting up here. Let me go and define this variable for the time being here, and we will go and write down the logic for this later. Okay, now my summary portion is also ready, where I am putting all the sub key information for the for our data table summary. Coming back to the data table one more time. Now I want to have one data table which is responsible to go and display the data. So here I will be adding up the lightning data table as a part of next thing. So okay, before I go and add the lightning data table, what I will do, I will navigate to my JavaScript file, make an Apex call to go and first get the data. So to do this, I will be importing the Apex method from here. So what is the method name? Get open cases, right? This is the method that I am calling up here. Again, how I will be calling this method? I will be calling this method with the help of the wire decorator. So here I'll be putting the wire, and what I will do here is @wire get open cases. Whatever the cases that I will be getting now here, I will go and process those cases with the help of the function. Why I'm using the function here? Because there are few properties. If you see my query here, right? I am passing few of the information which is in the form of parent to child relationship query. Your data table does not understand this kind of a field name. They understand the single field name here. They don't understand your parent to child or any other kind of a field name. So what you have to do here is whatever the data that you will be getting from there, you have to go and process that data, and then you can go and work on that data. Okay, so here I will be first invoking this method, and here I will be passing the one input parameter that I already have is the selected account ID. Right? Initially, that parameter value will be blank or null, whatever you like to call it. Right? Let me put that as a null because that's the check that we are doing in our code as well. So here I am initializing this with the null. When it will go for the null, it will go and get all the cases. But in case someone is maintaining the value, it will automatically go and filter the cases based on that. After that, whatever the response that I am getting here, I want to go and process that response. So rather than I directly go and divide my result into the form of data as well as the error, what I am doing here is I will be storing this result into one of the variable. Why I am doing this? Because down the line I have to go and refresh my table as well, right? So here I am putting the one of the another property wired cases result and putting that as an empty array, right? So whatever the result that I am getting here, this dot wired case result is equal to result. I am first storing that result into one of the variable. Okay, and now I will be checking in my result whether I am getting the data or I am getting any error. So here I am checking if I am getting the data, else if I am having some error. Right? In the case of error, I am not doing anything. What I will do here is I will simply go and populate that error. So here I will go and define another property with the name of error and assigning it to the null. So whatever the error that I will be getting here, I go and simply populate that error. Okay, down the line, again, in case you folks wants to show the toast event and all those stuff, you guys can do that. Similarly, whatever the data that I will be getting up here, I will be storing it into the another property that is the cases. So here I do have this dot cases is equal to, and rather than I go and process that data here, let me go and create another method which is responsible to go and process the data. Okay, so process case result, and here I will be having the complete result dot, sorry, I will be having here the, let's say, data. Okay, and while passing whatever the result that we are getting from the result, I am only passing the data. Okay, don't get confused. You can give any variable name here. It's completely your choice. For example, here I can go and give the variable name as case data as well. Only thing is this name must be the result dot data only. And what I will be doing here is I will be invoking this method and passing the result dot data here. Okay, so here we will also go and initialize the error with the null. Similarly, in here, in this case, if I am getting any error, what I will be doing here is here I am assigning the this dot cases is equal to, let's say, an empty array, right? We are also initializing this with the empty array. So in case I'm getting any error, what I will be doing here is I'm initializing this with the empty array. Now this is the case data that I do have, in which I do have all the array of records. So what I will be doing here is I will be populating this, I will be iterating over this case data. Okay, for the iteration I will be using the map method. Here I am going over each case at one time. Right now, while doing the iteration, what I need to do, I need to go and populate the array of object. So to populate the array of object, we discussed multiple times in the past video as well, we have to use the round bracket, and inside the round bracket we always go and use the curly bracket. So what I want to populate here, whatever the item that I am already getting, or let me give the more logical name here, that is the case record. Whatever the case record data that we already have, this is three dots are nothing but the spread operator. It will first go and have the original data available in that array. But in addition to that, I want to populate the few other data as well. The few other data means I want to populate the account name, contact, as well as the few other details. So how I can do that? So for that, you will be adding up the new properties. To add the new property, for example, account name is the new property that I want to add, where what I want to do here is I want to go and get the account name from my case record dot account dot name. Why I am doing this? Again, I am iterating. I am doing this because my data table does not understand this kind of a data that I am getting from the Apex. Either you go and populate the wrapper class here, or you can go and do the operations in the JavaScript. It's completely your choice. Okay, but again, it's not mandatory. We know that while creating the case selection of the account, so there might be few cases without the account as well. So I don't want my code should break here. So here I'll be using this question mark operator. I'm not getting the name what actually we call this operator. In case you folks know, please let me know in the comment section, right? But this is how you can go and check if the value of the name is null or not. In case it is null, then what it will do, it will go and refer the another value, that is n/a here, right? Similar thing I will be doing it for the contact, right? I will be populating the account name and the contact name exactly like this. Okay, I will be having the account name case record dot account question mark dot name, and if the value is available, that value will come up from here. If the value is not available, it will be coming up as n/a. Now, whatever the data that I will be getting from here, I will go and store that data, let's say, into one of the property or one of the variable. Okay, that is the processed response is equal to. Okay, and from this method, I will be returning this process response. So here I go and put the return of the process response. So whatever the response that we are processing, that response will be populating under the this dot cases. I hope this is clear how we are populating the cases. Now we do have the data available in the cases as well. So what we're going to do as a part of next step, we go and put the data table here to go and display the case record. So here I will be adding up the, let me go and put up here, that is the able to display data. And one thing I believe I have missed here is I should be adding some padding from the top always. Okay, so let me go and do that. SLDS where p around SML small, so that we can have some space coming up from all the sides. Okay, and now coming back to the another, I will be adding one more div here, and this div is something which is responsible to go and display the data. So here I'll be putting the template first, LWC if, right? What I am taking up here is whether the data is available in the cases or not. If the data is available in the cases, then I will be displaying the data. If the data is not available in the cases, then I will not be displaying the data. So how I'm making that decision whether the data is available or not. Coming back to my JavaScript file, here I will be checking is data available. I will be putting up one getter method which is responsible to check whether the data is available or not. What this method will do, this method will simply check if the data is available in the cases or not. If it is available, it will return true. If it is not available, it will return false. Coming back to my HTML, here I am simply putting this check, right? If the data is available, this section will go in, right, which is responsible to go and display the data table. In case data is not available, right, then here I'll be putting the else if is equal to, I believe else if is also not required, else is more than enough to go and display the data. Okay, and let me go and close that. First I will be closing this div where I'll be putting up a text as no data available. Okay, and let me go and close that div tag, and followed by that I will be closing the template tag as well. Now in case the data is available, then to display that data I will be taking the help of the data table. So again, navigating here, looking for the data table to go and display the data in the tabular form. I'll be taking the very basic structure from here, and then we will go and add the complexity down the line. So here I go and put my data table. Now in my data table, in which field I do have the key field available. Again, if you navigate here, the key field is available in the ID. It is not in the lower case of ID, but it is available in the upper case of the ID. So make sure that you are changing the key field. Your data is something which is available in the cases, right? This is where we are populating the data. So my data is should be coming up from the cases. And now the next thing that I need to go and define here is the column. So how to go and design the columns? Again, if you come to the documentation, right, here they have given the structure for the columns, right? So I'm copying this structure and navigating back here and putting that structure here. Okay, let's say I don't want to put that as a constant, so I'm taking this out, constant part, and let me go and put that columns. So very first thing, label is something that you can give anything. It should not be matched with the API name, but the field names are something that should always be matched with the API name. So very first thing that I want to put up here is the case number. Another thing, let me check if I'm making the query on this, that is the subject. So here I'll be putting the subject of the case, and the API name for this is the subject. By default, if you are not putting the type, it's always the text. So I am okay to take out the type from here. Next thing that I want to put up here is the account name. Okay, from which account name I am getting the data. For the account name, just now we have added one field with the name of account name. Okay, and as this is the property, it's good thing to go and put it inside the double quotes. Okay, it's not mandatory, it will not give you any error, but it's always a good thing to do it something like this. Okay, so here I'll be putting the account name for this particular account. Okay, again I'm taking out the type, which is not required, and followed by the contact name that I am putting up here. And for the contact name, this is the field that I have populated. Okay, so here I go and put the contact name. Okay, if you want to add few other properties, again the process is kind of a repeated, so let me add the final one, which is kind of a status, whether what is the status of the cases that we are getting, right? Because in the same way you can now add any other column for your table. So I'm not going to add all those columns that I'm putting up here, because I hope you folks got the understanding how you can go and populate all those things. Okay, so now my column structure is also ready, which is displaying the data. So what all things that we have done as of now, we are loading the data into the data table, right? We are allowing the selection of the cases, and based on that we are also filtering it. Let's go and first test this part whether it is coming up as expected or not, and then we will go and add the closure logic on it. So here I'll be putting the is exposed as true, defining the targets, putting the target here as the app page. Okay, and here I go and deploy this component. Meanwhile, I will navigate and add this component on one of the home page. So let me navigate here to the training page, and I will be adding that component here. So the name of the component here is the case management. Let me go and take this component away, existing component, and I will be adding the another component with the name of case management. Let me go and drag and drop, click on save. Okay, we are getting the error, process case result is not defined. Okay, let's see what is this error. What is process case result? Okay, this is the process case result. So basically this is the method that we are calling. So it should be this dot process case result. Okay, so that's what I am putting up here. Rest of the things, as of now, we have not written any logic to go and populate the total cases as well as the total selected cases. We will go and populate that logic as well in a while, but rest of the things looks good. As of now, no data is available. That is again something strange. Some data should come up because we are loading the cases. So let's see if I go back, right? And let me go and deploy these changes. I will clear the cache and refresh. It might be because of the failure. We are not getting the data, but now we have fixed this thing. Let's go and try to refresh the page to check if the cases are coming up. Yes, the cases are coming up, account names are coming up, and wherever the account name is not available, it is showing the /NA. So that functionality is also working as expected. So that's a good thing, right? Let's go and try to filter it based on the accounts. So here, let's say I want to filter this based on the top paid account. Okay, so here I will be selecting the top med. Okay, so if I'm applying the filter, seems like it is not working. So here, let me go and try to apply one more filter with the name of EJWA training. Okay, once I am applying the filter, somehow it is not working. It is not returning anything. So let me navigate here and try to look for the query, whether the query is getting formed correctly or not. So system.debug, and here I'll be putting my query so that I can check whether the records are getting filtered based on the query or not. So let me go and deploy this, and this is how actually you should go and troubleshoot. It's a good example for you folks to understand how actually we go and troubleshoot the real-time scenarios in case you failed. Okay, so let me go and refresh this page one more time. Okay, and what I will do here is I will go and check the logs. Here I'll be looking for the top mate, selecting the top mate. The one log is generated, and here we are getting the error, that is the unexpected token. Okay, so let's go and see how the query is coming up. Okay, the query is coming up, but here we are having one additional dot. That's what I can see. So why that additional dot coming back here? Okay, I don't think we need the dot here. I believe we need that dot. Let's go and try to put something like this. Okay, I believe this should work. Let me go and try to deploy this. Because the query was forming wrong. Now let me come here, refresh the page. Right, so on the initial page the data is loading. Let me go and add the filter. Now the query is working correctly. It is also able to filter up the records as well. So this part is also good. Right, now the next thing that I need to do here is this button is something which is coming up at the wrong place. I want it should be coming up at the right place. So to move this button to the right, what I will do, coming back to my HTML file one more time, and here I will be aligning this button to the right, like I have aligned the other things to the right. right? Let me also go and align this button as well uh, to the right. So here I'll be putting the class is equal to, or rather than putting up here, let's directly go and put up here itself. Okay. So that the button complete section will be aligned to the right. Okay, so this part is good, header is good, tables are coming up, that is also working as expected, right? Only thing that is pending here is we have to go and populate the total selection logic, that again we will do in a while. But before that, let's go and work on that selection logic, right? If I'm selecting the records, right here, it should, that two things should happen here. It should populate how many records has been selected, and this button should also be enabled based on the selection. So how you can handle the selection on the data table? It's very simple. You have to go and listen to one event as soon as you are doing the selection, and that event here is the on row selection, right? And what I'm doing here is, as soon as some selection is happening, I'm executing the method that is the handle row selection method. What this method will do, this method will go and execute as soon as you will be making any selection on your component. And in this selection, what I'll be doing is I will be storing the selection into one of the property. Okay, so navigating here, let me go and define one property here with the name of selected rows. And this is the method that just now I have put up, handle row selection, right? What I am doing, as I said, I will be populating the selected rows into one of the property, that is the selected rows. As soon as the rows has been selected, as I said, what we have to do, we have to go and enable the button, right? So rather than what I will do, because I want this thing should happen dynamically as soon as the selection should happen. So I will not use this property here. Rather than using the property here, I will go and use this as a getter method. Okay, because whenever you have to do anything dynamically, you should always take the help of the getter method. So here I'll be putting the get disable button. What I am saying here is the button should disable only when the length is 0, right? If the length is 0, then and then only the button should be disabled. If the length is not 0, then the button should not be disabled, right? So it will return false as soon as the length is not equal to 0. This is how basically I am shifting directly without making any change in my HTML file. Rather than I go and use it, I am dynamically populating it with this functionality. So my first part has been taken care. My button will be enabled. Now, as soon as user clicked on that button for the selection closure, right? There are two more things that we need to do before I come to the closure part. And I should go and populate how many open cases are available and how many has been selected. So again, this information I would also like to populate dynamically. So what I will do, total open case count, here I will get it with the help of getter method. It's very simple, right? What I need to do here is whatever is the length of the case that I should return, and it will populate me how many cases has been open. Similarly, how many cases has been selected for the closure, that also can be populated dynamically. So let me go and take out that as well. And this is how you guys can understand, right, how I am making the decision from shifting from the property to the getter method. I will simply putting up the length of the selected rows. So this is how I am putting all those getter methods here. Now, all these values has been populated. Again, if you want to have the quick text, whether it is coming up as expected or not, let me go and quickly deploy this, and we will see whether all those details are populating as expected or not. And then we go and write down the logic for the closure part of the cases. Okay. Cannot read the properties of undefined reading length. So somewhere we are doing wrong. Let me navigate here. This dot selected rows dot length. Okay, so what I should do, because this is an array and I'm using the length attribute directly, I should go and initialize that with an empty array. So let's go and try this out now. One more time. Here I clear the cache, refresh the page. Now everything is coming up. You guys can see how many cases has been opened, that is coming up. Button has been shifted to right, that is also good. Now as soon as I am making some selection, let's say I'm making the selection for 1, it is showing up 1. If I'm making a selection as 2, it is showing as 2, and my button is also enabled for the deletion. If I go and make that uncheck, right, it is coming up as 1. And that's the benefit of having the getter method, right? Everything will be calculated at the runtime. You can see if there is no selection, the button is also disabled. Now only the last piece is left now, where on the selection we have to go and get the all the rows, and then we have to perform the delete operation. To perform this delete operation, I will be taking the help of the Apex class. Okay, so coming back here, very first thing what I will do, I will go and write down the Apex class, which is responsible to go and delete the cases. Okay, so here I'll be putting my another class. Again, I'll be putting that as an aura enabled class, which is having only the IDs, because for the deletion, the only thing that we require here is the case ID, nothing, not deletion. Basically, we have to go and close, right? We have to perform the update operation. The only thing that I will be requiring here is the ID. What I will do now, I will go and iterate over these IDs, right? So let me do this by myself, okay, rather than using the IntelliSense. So for ID is ID of the selected cases. Here I will be populating the case record, populating the ID of the case, and also updating the status as the close. But we never perform the DML operation in the loop. So here I will be putting up the list of case, that is the case list is equal to new list of case, right? And here I go and add those records into the list. And finally, what I will do with the help of try catch block, I will be performing the operation. So here I will be putting up the operation as try catch block, and here I'll be updating the case list. In the case of exception, what I am doing here is, here I will be throwing the aura enabled exception, right? So that the LWC will understand there is some exception happened at the apex end. Now my apex is good. Make sure that apex is not cacheable equal to true, because you have to perform the DML operation. Here I go and deploy my apex. So now the Apex is also deployed. Now this is the method that I have to go and invoke. Navigating to the JavaScript file, the very first thing that I'll do here, I go and import this method, right, from my Apex class, and then I will be invoking this method from here. Again, this invocation I'll be doing it in the asynchronous way. So I'll putting it async, right, using the try catch block. I will be using it to perform the operation. Right. But before I go and invoke this, what I need to do, as I said, I have to only go and populate the case ID. So here I go and get the case IDs. Okay, so I'm putting the const case ID. So I already have the selection available in my selected rows. So what I will do, I'll be using here this dot selected rows dot map, and here I am iterating over the each row and getting the row ID. So basically what it will return, the map method, do remember it will always return an array. So I do have here the array of case IDs, right? Then I will be calling my method, that is the close selected cases. This method is expecting the parameter name with the name of selected cases. So that's what I am putting up here with the name of selected cases, right? And then here I'll be putting up the catch block as well to log the error. Very simple, right? Now, as soon as the selection has been done, as soon as you have closed the cases, so you should also do the cleanup as well. That's a good practice that you guys should follow, right? Right, to perform the cleanup. Moreover, you should also go and do this kind of a cleanup whenever the account is changed, because if the account is changed, the previous selection does not matter, right? So here again I am clearing the selection. Next thing that I should also do here is I have to go and refresh the table, right? Whatever the records that has been cleared out, I have to go and refresh the table. How to refresh the table? So for that, you will be importing the refresh apex. So here I will be getting the syntax for the refresh apex. Navigating here, I'll be importing the refresh apex from here, right? And I will be calling this refresh apex method where I need to go and pass the output from my wire decorator to perform the refresh operation. So here again, I will be using the await refresh apex, and whatever the output that I am getting from my wire, I already stored that output into one of the property, and this is where we go and use that property so that my table will be refresh using the refresh apex. Now, another thing that they have also asked to show the toast message as well. Showing the toast message is a very simple thing. What you should do here is, so here I'll be putting up the toast message, navigating here, and platform show toast event. Actually, this is where you should navigate, right? And import the show toast event to display the toast message. Next thing here is, this is the method that you should be writing to go and perform the toast operation. You will be calling this particular method to perform the toast operation. Let's say in this method, I'm having some input parameter, title, message, and the variant. And same thing I am passing up here as well. Title, whatever the message that you do have, and for the variant that you wants to put up, right? Okay, I don't want to put the modes, that's fine. I am taking that out. Now, whenever you want to give the error message or the success message, you can always use this common method. So for example, as soon as everything has been closed, I want to go and put the success message. I will be using this dot show toast event, passing the title, message, as well as the variant. Similarly, in the case of error, I want to show the error message. So here I'll be passing the error message as well as the body. It's very simple. Here also, again, if you want to notify the user that some error has been happened, and here again you can use the similar kind of a stuff as well. Okay, so ideally you should use this dot show toast event to go and display the error message. Let's go and deploy this, and we can have a quick check on the final part whether everything is coming up as expected or not. Navigating here, refreshing the page. And here I will be making my selection. Let's say everything is coming up as expected, right? Let's say these are the two cases that I want to go and close. So here I'll be putting up the close selected cases. You can see the cases are closed successfully. The ask was you have to go and also add the count, but I am putting already the count here, adding the count there also. It's not a big thing. You can always go and add the count there as well. Okay, but this is how, folks, you can go and create the utility to perform the operations on the cases. The spelling for the utility itself is wrong, so let me go and correct it. But rest of the things, I hope you got the understanding how to add the filter, how to apply the filter to make the selections, how you can perform the closure using the imperative apex. So this example again have lots of different things to learn, how to use the record picker, how to go and perform the mass operation or the bulk operation, right? How to effectively use the getter methods, how you can go and display the columns on the lightning data table. I hope you folks have found this video helpful. As I said, if you want to download the code that we are building in this video, then you can take the help of the TopMate. You can navigate and download this interview prep guide where you will get the code for this as well. Thank you. Have a good time.